What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about ICP today at the request of Easy Money. Shout out to Easy Money for the request. We're going to talk about this here. Here we are at about $8.93. It is the 8th day of November, and here we are with about 8 hours left in the day. I do have some thoughts on ICP that I'd like to share with you. The purpose of this video is to discuss the short-term stuff and the long-term stuff. We're going to go over what I think is going to happen over the coming days, but also what I think is going to happen between now and the end of the cycle. So cycle ending predictions will be in this video as well. If that all sounds good to you, hit the like button, you guys, subscribe, and let's get into it, okay? First and foremost, just getting a gauge for this here. ICP, and not including the scam wick from October, but just looking at the low here, low to high, you made a nice move, 252% over the past week. Right, over the past couple of weeks, 220% right now, excluding the high, just your current price, 220%. That's nice to see. You are at a place here where you could find resistance. You found resistance before, you found support before, resistance before, right here at this zone. It makes a lot of sense to find resistance here. And if you take the high of this cycle so far to the low, and we're not taking the scam wick low, we're just taking the low here, we are actually tipping the golden ratio for resistance. Typically, from a high here to a low here, it's your first interaction with the golden ratio. Typically on the first interaction, you do expect to find resistance. And then you go to the 0.5382 area. That's where we're going to go, right? We were looking at dash here, and this is what allowed us to conclude that dash was at a high point here and that we would pull back to levels basically where we're at now, exactly where we're at now. From a high from the last cycle to the bear market low, we hit the golden ratio right here. And we pull back to the 0.5382 area for support. This is where we're going to find support, is in this area, just like ICP. It's the same thing, right? You're at this area now, just like Dash, right? Golden ratio zone, find some turbulence, come back down to the 0.532. It's very common, and then continue higher. I do think ICP has higher to go. But at the moment, I think if we look at this here, you look at the 4-hour time frame, there is some bearish divergence. Bearish divergence on the oscillators, on the stochastics, and bearish divergence on the MACD as well. The 1-hour time frame is perfect. It's very bullish. It's hard to be bearish on this, but the 1 hour is very bullish. What I will say is, from here, $9, we could move higher first. I doubt that we get above $11.20. I doubt we get above $11 at all, but we could move up higher and form some more bearish divergence. So don't get excited if we do see prices above $10. In fact, I think what we're doing right here is finding psychological. Look at this. We've got so many reasons to find resistance here, you guys. Right there, the high is at $9.83. That's $10 psychological resistance. You've got the golden ratio for resistance. You've got prior support, resistance back here for resistance. You've got bearish divergence for resistance. It makes sense that you stop here. We probably do pull back down, I would guess, to the 0.5 or the 382 area, which would be anywhere from about $7.65 to $6.30. And we could pull lower. It is possible that you could pull back lower, but I would think right here, this 382 looks perfect, man. Just prior resistance right there, prior support right there. It looks so perfect. But anything from $6 to $7.65, I think is fair game. We're at $8.95 now. That's my expectation. Then we should be moving up to the 786, 886 zone, which is at about $13.70 to $16.70 as well. So something in that area, $16.65 to $13.65, something in that zone is where we're going to go ultimately, and probably by the end of the month of November. That'd be my expectation. By the end of the year, maybe we're pressing $20 or higher, but this is where things get a little bit sad for ICP. I know everybody and their mother is very bullish on ICP. They think ICP is going to see new all-time highs. Look at how high it was, right? It was all the way up here. If it was up there in 2021, I mean, if we're going to see new all-time highs, that would put us, from the current price, that's a 60-something X. It's a no-brainer. It's going to see a new all-time high, but let me stomp on your feelings here real hard, okay? Real soft at first, but then real hard at the end, okay? This is ICP's first bull market, okay? It's its first bull market. This is my third bull market. I've seen plenty of cryptos come and go, and I've only seen 2 cryptos in my entire time that have ever pulled a market cap that was above a $100 billion reading in its first cycle. Now, this is important information to understand here, okay? There's only 2 cryptos I've ever seen that have pulled a $100 billion market cap or more in their first cycle, and that was Ethereum and XRP. This happened in the 2017-2018 alt season, and this is when the market was dramatically less saturated, okay? The market is well saturated now, as I'm sure we're all aware, and with that, I think it's just harder to see those kind of market cap levels in the first cycle. $100 billion is a lot of money, you guys. And I have this premise, just hear me out, full circle, it'll make sense. $100 billion is a lot of money. To get that kind of market cap, you need institutional backing. You need it. It needs to be there. You need some serious backs to back you up. If you're going to have $100 billion, it's a lot of money. We throw that around like nothing in crypto, but that's because some of these projects just go ape, they go bananas, but they've been here for multiple cycles. This is your first bull market, and typically cryptos in their first bull market, excluding XRP and Ethereum, don't see $100 billion. You are at a $5 billion market cap. 4.8 billion. We can round it up to 5, but let's just call it 4.8. I'll round it down for you. 4.8 billion. Typically, cryptos in their first bull market that do well, that stand out, like ICP, they can see a market cap as high as 20 to 60 billion dollars. You can go up to 80 billion sometimes, but after 80, you're really pushing it. 80 is kind of the limitations. I know I said 100 billion, but really it's like 80 billion. But some cryptos do get to above 80 billion in their first cycle, but it's very, very rare. Some cryptos get above 60 billion in their first cycle, but it's also very rare. Most stay between 20 to 60 in their first cycle if they're in the top 100 and they're gaining dominance, right? Not all cryptos get to a 20 to 60 billion dollar market cap in their first cycle. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying if we're hitting those maximum capacities of what we see popular coins hit, it's 20 to 60 billion dollars. Let's imagine ICP goes to $100 billion this cycle, and I'm wrong, and we go to $100 billion. What would that take? Well, from here, a 10x is 48 billion, 20x is 96 billion. So let's just assume then it would be a 21x. 21x would get us right over $100 billion, and that doesn't include or account for any kind of token unlocks that might happen as well. Okay, a 21x gets you to $100 billion, which we've already established is statistically very improbable. Okay, it's very improbable, a 21x. 21x from here would put you all the way up at about $192. So right there already, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, anything above $200 is impossible. And it's not impossible, but from a statistical standpoint, it's like 99.9% likely to not happen. Anything above here, okay? 99.99%. Now let's do 80 billion, because you're likely not going to get above 80 billion either, right? You do a 10x on this, that's 48 billion. Probably have to do a... and let's even do 60, because you probably don't get above 60. Honestly, let's just cut the crap and just get right down to 60. So that would be a 12x to get to 60, right? About a 12x to get to, if I'm doing my math right, I think I am. 12x should get you to $60 billion, okay? A 12x from here puts you at 60, and again, 12x would be about right there. It's at about $110, okay? It's a $60 billion market cap. That's pushing the envelope in itself. This line is 100 billion. That represents 100 billion, right? That's 100 right here. This line represents 60. Most cryptos, like Avalanche, like DOT, like Solana, like Cardano, like Bitcoin Cash, like Litecoin, they don't, whenever they're in their top, their first bull market, their very bullish bull market, sweet even, right? They don't get to prices that are above, or a valuation that's above 20 to 60 billion dollars. 20 to 60 is that kind of range. Some of them do, but if they do, 80 billion or lower is typically what's held. It's possible. All I'm trying to say is it's possible. It's like 99.99% that you do not get above this line. I would say there's like a 10% chance that you get above this line. Maybe a 20% chance at best. But statistically speaking, most probably you stop somewhere between $110, and if we're going to go for $20 billion, that'd be a 5x from here, right? It'd be a 4x from here, really. A 4x from here is 300% growth. And again, like I said, softly and then hard, right? We're going to hurt your feelings softly and then slowly. This is really your target area by the end of the cycle. Okay. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I think ICP, anybody investing in ICP right now, you're going to make money. But the maximum potential you have is anywhere from $37 to $111, which is barely a 12x. Maybe you can see a 20x, maybe. But the average altcoin from here, if we're looking at the average altcoin, we do the others chart here, the average altcoin is expected, at least from my own analysis, we're expected to go to the 2272. which from the current valuation means that the average altcoin, in my opinion, is going to see something on the lines of like a 25x. The average altcoin, not their minimum target, not their maximum target, the average move in the mean, the medium there, right? In the top 125 coins will likely see a 25x. ICP at its best, $100 billion, at its absolute best, barely gets you to a 20x, right? 21x, barely gets you there. At its absolute best, where the average coin is going to do this. So do you see what I'm saying? As far as a short-term investment goes, if you're making money here, great, good for you. Everything else is down right now. Everything else, while you're up this week, everything else is down. Take profits, buy something that's on a discount that has 25x potential at a minimum, instead of 21x potential at a maximum. And again, to get to 21x, that's probably like a less than 5% chance that you get that from here, ICP. Probably even a less than 3% chance, genuinely. Between this level, between these areas here, I would say that you have a 90% likelihood to stop somewhere between $37 to $111. It's less likely that you stop at 37. It's less likely that you stop at 111. It's most likely that you stop somewhere in between. $100 is a nice psychological level of resistance. And right here, we also have prior resistance here at about $87. We take a high to a low. We overlay our fibs, and actually not taking the scam wick. I'm sorry, taking the real low here. The golden ratio is at $72, $73. I have a hard time seeing ICP get to anything that is above $80 personally, but $80 to $100 is like the maximum of what I would expect. 37 is the minimum, and anything in between is fair game. So I got nothing else. That's my expectations by the end of the cycle. I told you my short-term stuff. I am expecting a little bit of a pullback here. If I'm wrong, here's how you prove me wrong. You won't prove me wrong as far as my cycle high predictions go. That's that won't be proven wrong. But if I'm wrong as far as going lower from here goes, if you are moving up higher, prove me wrong by getting a week to close above $9.70. If you can close a week above $9.70, and not just above it, like break it, close it like $10 or more. If you can do that on a weekly time frame, or 2 days in a row even, then I'm wrong. Then you're moving up higher. You're probably moving up right now to 1365 to 1665, somewhere in that range. But I theorize first what you're going to do is pull back to $7.65 to $6, somewhere in this range to find support, and then you'll move up to $13.65 to $16.65. That's my expectation. Officially breaking out, right? You're at this lower high trend right here. You might consolidate and then officially break out right there, and then look for higher prospects, of which you will stop somewhere between, I would think, $36.30 to $73 by the end of the cycle. That's my thoughts. The best, absolute best case scenario is that you stop at 125 to 157, and I don't see that happening. I really don't see that happening. Anyways, I got nothing else for you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. If you're wondering, if you're listening to this video and you're like, why do you hate ICP? I don't hate ICP. I've said it several times. I think it's a good project. I think anybody who's investing in it will make money. I don't hate ICP. I think it's at a high valuation for its first bull market, $5 billion. I don't think there's a lot of room to make money for this, from this as far as an investment goes. It's got a max supply of infinity, so they will continue to print new tokens. You look at the price. We look at the all-time history. Hold on here. Let's do this. Let's bring this back. We look at the all-time history on the price, and then we look at the market cap. It's a totally different chart. Here you've got higher lows. You've got higher lows since 2022. Where on the price, you've got lower lows. In fact, your lowest low just came in, right? You've diluted your supply at the cost of the investor. But anybody participating in the ecosystem, getting airdrops, getting rewards from these token unlocks, whatever it might be, they're the ones that are benefiting. It's going to stay here. This is a project that'll be around. It's just, if you're investing, understand you're going to probably make less money investing in this than you would investing in XRP. Or maybe it's something comparable to what you'd make investing in Dogecoin, which is a meme coin. Or, like there are a plethora of coins that are outside the top 100, between the top 100 to top 200, that are going to blow this thing out of the water. It's probably going to do double or more what this thing ends up doing between now and the end of the cycle. I don't hate XRP or ICP. I don't hate ICP at all. I think it's a good project. I think it's solid. I just think it's overvalued. And I don't think that it's beneficial to me as an investor to invest in it. Therefore, I'm saying that to you, my viewers, who are looking for proper investments to make money on, this is not one of them. If you're a builder, if you're a developer, if you're a participant of the ecosystem, this is probably the coin for you. But if you're looking to put your money into something and make it grow, this is probably something you shouldn't invest in. That's just my thoughts. With that being said, there is more growth to go in the short term, and maybe, there will be pumps and in times whenever this thing does outperform the average coin in the market, but between now and the end of the cycle, it will not just underperform the average coin. It's probably going to do less than half of what the average coin does between now and the end of the cycle. So that's all I got. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I don't hate ICP. I'm going to get a bunch of comments who are saying, oh, this guy's just a hater. I've been in crypto for 10 years. There are no cryptos other than Ethereum and XRP that have ever seen a market cap above $100 billion in its first cycle. And if ICP gets to $100 billion, guess what? That's still only a 21x. That's only a 21x from here. No, not happening. And for what would be statistically improbable to get a 21x, I'd rather invest in something that has the chance of doing a 100x or a 50x. The statistical probability would be a 25x at the least, or on average, right? But this thing, its maximum potential, absolute max capacity, is not even performing on par with what we're looking the average altcoin to do by the end of the cycle. Anyways, I got nothing else, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye. See you later.